the entire episode, I was just like, Jim, if you don't sit your $5 ass down before I make change. The way I am so here for Boyd being on his Rick Grimes, like, yo, you think you could do better without me? You think you could survive without me? I'm Nikki, and today I am here to talk episode 5 of From season 3. Nights, we are here and we are halfway through season 3 of the From series, and baby, we nowhere further from where we started. But let's get into everything, because what y'all think we got in episode 5? More questions on questions on questions, more pieces to a puzzle that I literally do not have faith will ever be put together. But let's start off with how things ended last episode. That is how this one begins. We have Boyd, and I think it was Ellis, carrying Randall into community house, and of course we end up where Marielle is trying to help Randall, but Randall ends up pushing Marielle, yelling at Boyd, you did this to me, you left me out there. Now hold on now, child. Boyd ain't do nothing to you, and Boyd did not leave you out there. Like, I was really just like, please tell me we're not about to go down this road. A division in the town, Randall being more of an a-hole character and an annoyance than he already is. Like, it just feels so irksome to me. And we already get enough, or well, I do, get enough annoyance with just Jim and Tabitha and his whole family. And I don't want any more aggravation when trying to watch this show. I just feel like it's so tired for Randall to like just dig more into being just that a-hole character. But I just feel like it's so ridiculous to say that Boyd did this to him. No, the From did this to you. The creatures from the night did this to you. Boyd literally, I feel like there's no way to put responsibility on Boyd when he literally had no choice. It was either A, me and all the other 3 people in the ambulance get killed, or Randall get got. Like, there was only options. If Boyd would have said, nah, you creature that I have no weapon formed against you, don't hand me this key so I could drive these folks off. Let me go over there where Randall is surrounded and try to save his ass. Come on, man. There was nothing Boyd could do. There was nothing Boyd could do. We have yet to find anything that actually hurts these monsters other than last season when Boyd used, I think, like the worms in his blood, and then they tried to like soak the bullets in some fluid, whatever the hell that was, that we ain't never go back to. But we have not found a way to hurt these things. I feel like Boyd, there was nothing Boyd could do. First of all, he didn't have the keys to that ambulance, so him and all 3 of everybody in that ambulance was pretty much stuck without the monster literally just giving him the keys. And Randall was the main one saying, oh, they have a routine, they stick to it tonight, they're not on that routine. So that should tell you they were planning this. We pretty much have Randall in the clinic moaning and groaning for the entirety of this episode, so I'm pretty sure his annoyance will likely be the next episode. But we have Kenny, Chrissy, and Jade. They are back, so I guess they were safe out there without the totem. So yeah. But Kenny is at the clinic with Boyd, and they're having a conversation, and Boyd is catching him up and telling him that, you know, Tabitha is back. She went through one of the magic trees. It took her to a lighthouse. So I guess she did explain to our core characters what happened, because remember last episode, I was like, hold on now, baby. When Jim wanted to just go upstairs, I'm like, no, she got some explaining to do. Like, you need to be telling us something. But apparently she said it to like the main core people, because Boyd is relaying all of that stuff over to Kenny. And Kenny does go on to say like there's something different out there where they found the produce and stuff. There was something walking around at night outside the cabin. But I'm honestly, like, it is what it is. I've been enjoying the show, but the way we stretch certain storylines out is very irksome. Like, we've been hearing something creeping around outside since Kenny and Jim were out there, and like we're no further with that 5 episodes later. But they end up continuing a conversation where Randall was like, why did they leave Randall like that? Like, why not kill him? And I feel like, baby, is anybody putting their thinking caps on? But Boyd ends up being like, I think they want us to look at him during the day and remember like what comes when the sun goes down. We get to pretend during the day, pretend we're safe. And I'm just kind of like, nah, that ain't what I got. That ain't what I got. They like feeding on the chaos and the suffering and the misery and getting everybody mentally discombobulated. They want to be dividing people, and they want Randall to cause like they want the humans like doing ish that's going to just feed what they are doing. And the whole theme for this season seems to be let's break Boyd. So I'm just like, boy, no, that ain't what they was thinking of. But Marielle has an interaction with Christy, and then she goes to take care of Randall, and that's pretty much all of them that we get this episode. We end up going to Sarah and Victor, who are outside on the way to community house, and Sarah's like, okay, I thought we were supposed to be going to get Jasper, and I thought you said Jasper was in the tunnels. And Victor is like, yes, but we need supplies first. So I'm really curious as to what are the supplies that they need before going in those tunnels to get Jasper. But baby, we get off track and we never even get there. Because when Victor gets to community house, Donna sees him and she's like, your dad is here. Victor immediately is like, no, and freaking like freaks out, runs out. So we're off the Jasper mission, okay? Sarah is trying to figure out what the hell is going on. Like, that was fast. Did you get the supplies? What's going on? And that's when Victor is like, Donna said, my dad is here. You should go home. We'll get Jasper later. And I was kind of with Sarah like, no, baby, you can't bust up in my house, make me build this fort, go through this whole thing with me, and now you got it on my mind that we need to go get Jasper and get some answers, and then now you want to just bail. But I am so annoyed with how we keep getting off track from certain storylines. Boyd catching the creature. We done veered all the way off track. I guess we just done with that. Victor and Sarah finding Jasper, we just off track. But I do have hope with the way things end with them that we're going to get back on track with Jasper, because Sarah is talking to Victor about everything with his dad, and Victor is pretty much feeling like scared and like feels like his dad is waiting for like the little boy that drove off years ago. And also what helped Victor with coping was to not really think of his pre-town life and his dad. He never drew any pictures of his dad. And I also find it interesting the knowledge that the From has, because I do not think it's just random or coincidence that we harp a lot in this episode on the fact that Tabitha left town and didn't come back with anything, didn't do anything useful, which I also said that I was like, baby, you came back and ain't got nothing for us. But I don't think it's just random that she came back with Henry. I think there's a purpose there, or maybe I'm just hoping there's a purpose there. We end up like kind of comforting Victor, like, look, your dad, you know, might be as scared as you are. Like, let's just go do it. So sidetrack over to Henry at community house with Donna, and it's so crazy how him and Victor are kind of feeling the same thing. Donna takes Henry up to Victor's room, which I found it very interesting because Victor be funny about people in his room. Like, have we forgotten that? But Donna brings Henry up to Victor's room, like this is where he stays most of the time, and Henry pretty much goes through the room and he picks up different things, like a certain drawing that shows like a map, which I'm wondering what was Victor mapping. But Henry goes to talk about how he pretty much accepted that his family was dead. I kind of feel like it's not even anything bad on his side. Like, how can you really stay sane and move forward with life? I completely get him coming. I mean, it's been like 40 years. Like, I get him just having to come to the acceptance that his family was never coming back. But he feels guilt about that. He's like, my little boy was here alone. Like, what kind of man gives up on his family? And he's feeling like, no wonder he doesn't want to see me. So we end up later seeing Henry and Ethan. And Henry is outside. And he's like, okay, there's a pool and there's a motel sign. But where's the motel? And this is more of the questions on questions on questions. Because now you know, and we're finna all be theorizing about the missing motel and what that must mean. And when Henry is out there with Ethan. Ethan's like, I'm about to go feed the animals. He tells him how Victor is his best friend. And just as they are walking to go feed the animals, and Sarah and Victor are walking, and I think presumably back to community house, if I remember correctly, because Sarah was saying how, when she was trying to comfort Victor, like, I'll go back to community house with you, we all run into each other. And Ethan is like, hey, that's Victor. And they look at each other. Y'all, now I did say that I did not think the Victor Henry reunion would be like what we're kind of expecting, because I was feeling like I would be upset. I wouldn't be happy, because why the hell would I want someone I love in this hell of a town, in this like place where people die and bad things happen, as Victor like drove home for Ethan when T. Chan died. But their reunion, it got me in the heart. It got me in the feels. And shout out to these actors and the talent of these damn actors. I've always loved Victor. Like, he just gets me in the heart. And when him and his dad, like, first, like, get close, and I feel like it was like a trepidation. Like, Henry was kind of like, can I hug you? But then they both just, like, embrace and hug, and they're crying. But when Victor says, I didn't know how to get home, oh my God. I just about broke. Like, poor Victor. I love Victor. I love Victor. Like, I don't care. Ever since season 1, he can do no wrong. I love that character. Let's get into Tabitha, Jim, Julie, Ethan. You know, my favorite first family of From. But they're having a conversation, obviously, about Tabitha, what she went through. And Julie ends up saying, like, I don't understand. Like, how did you go from the lighthouse to the hospital in Maine? And I do not understand why this far in, we are still always trying to make stuff here logical. Like, it takes me back to Jim building that tower, and I'm just like, nothing here is going to be logical. Like, I felt like season 1, Jim was very just in trying to come up with logical solutions for an illogical problem. Like, everything here is like unbelievable. It's like out of the realm of reality. So I'm just like, what do you mean you don't understand how she went from a lighthouse to the hospital? Like, I just don't understand why we're asking questions like this. But Jade ends up busting in, and he's like, hey, I need to talk to you. Jim is like, back off, man. Like, the second Jade comes in, and he don't even do nothing. He's just like, yeah, he like came in a huff, but he did not do anything except say to Tabitha, I need to talk to you. Back off, man. And Tabitha's like, it's okay. The way I literally spent the entire episode, like, Jim, sit your ass down. Sit your $5 ass down before I make change. Jim get on my last nerve. And I really feel like either the writers don't know what the hell to do with Jim, or the writers are content with putting him in the role of just being angry and annoying all the time. Like, and just illogical. It just... Jim really is the epitome of when I always say the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world that men are logical and women are irrational. It don't get more irrational and emotional than Jim. Back off, man. The way I wanted to smack... I can't stand Jim. I can't stand Jim so much. It's not even... Like, I don't even want to see the actor. Like, I don't even want to see his face. But Jay pretty much wants to know about the tree that Tabitha went in with the bottles, and Jim is trying to dissuade him. Like, look, I already went to that tree. I pulled a few of the bottles down. There was notes in the bottles with numbers. Like, nothing means anything. This place is just always trying to mind F us, is what Jim says. And his reaction honestly kind of annoyed me. Like, just because you couldn't figure something out with that tree doesn't mean that it's just pointless for anyone else to try. And I'm of the mind of Jim. Like, I've already said, I did my live the other day, and I had, the poll for everybody in the chat, like, who do you think will save us? And one of the answers was, or can we not be saved? I am of the mind that no one in From can be saved, that there is nothing to like figure out that's going to give us this grand answer of getting free. So I'm with Jim. Everything is just a mind F. This place is just trying to just mess with everybody. But at the same time, just because that's what you think and you couldn't figure something out does not mean let nobody else go out there and try and figure anything out. So Tabitha pretty much isn't against what Jade is saying, but she pretty much says, like, I promised Boyd that I would go to that town meeting. And Jade is just really pushing, like, blow off the meeting. Like, this is important. We need to go to that tree. Like, you went home. That's not a dream. It's real. It's tangible. Speaking of the meeting, child, let's get to this town meeting at the diner. Now, what was kind of tripping me out was folks being late to the meeting. What the hell do these people do in this town all day? I've been asking that question for a while. What do these people have to, you ain't got TV, you ain't got no appointment. Like, what do these people do all day? Because Tabitha and Jim show up late to the town meeting, but also Julie is ditching the town meeting and heading over to community house, and she sees one of the little background extra town people characters running late. Girl, why are you running late? Like, why was this girl at community? Like, what do y'all have to do all day that the one time y'all got somewhere to be, y'all pulling up late? And I guess I can excuse Jim and Tabitha because they likely were late because Jade came over and had that conversation. But Julie goes to community house and she's like, I just got to grab something. What she got to grab is some weed. Like, and she ends up running into Elgin. And I thought this was very weird and made no sense. All we've been doing is watching Elgin sleep and dream about the dead kimono lady. And he ain't never got a weapon. He ain't never trying to fight her. And then the very last episode, when he saw the dead kimono lady, he asked Tilly, am I dreaming? Proceeds to get up and follow her. She reaches out her hand and say, help me. So why then, this very next time we see him, does he nearly attack Julie? And end up telling her about the dead kimono lady? 1 + 1 not equaling 2 for me. Like, so you were about to attack Julie because you thought she was a dead kimono lady, even though the last time you saw the dead kimono lady, you got up and followed her and she did not do anything to hurt you. She said, help me. I'm confused on why we had him meet up with Julie like this when he was like about to attack her. That didn't make any sense to me. That, like, there was no rhyme or reason for that, but hey, whatever. So he ends up, we're having a lot this season of characters finally telling each other about, like, seeing things and experiencing certain things. So that's what this interaction with Elgin and Julie is. And Julie is pretty much like, I would take the creepy kimono lady over what I hear in my head. And she goes to say, and it's been very vague on what Julie, Marielle, Randall them experienced in those little states where they were like screaming and stuff. Randall's rendition was vague. If I remember correctly, Marielle hasn't talked about it. Julie's rendition of what happened is vague. It's pretty much a lot of, I don't really remember, but it's like the worst thing I ever saw. And there's just mostly screaming. Screaming from what? Screaming from who? Like, I don't know. It's still very vague, at least for me, on exactly what they experienced and what they saw. And when they're talking about the meeting and about Tabitha's mom going home, Julie's mom going home, Elgin goes to ask her, like, what does she think it mean? And Julie is pretty much like, we're just here to suffer. That's why they let my mom out. The best way to suffer is to give us hope. And remember when Boyd was in that little, what was he in, like a castle, tunnel, whatever that was, when the man was chained to the wall, when he got the worms in him. And his wife's, that was when his wife said something about hope. I think that was the same time that happened. But I tend to agree with Julie. Like, people have their theories about, like, the overarching mystery of From. I have my theories about certain little storyline, plot lines, and threads throughout From. But for the overarching, first of all, I really feel like I don't want an answer to the overarching mystery of From. But I also feel like I'm inclined to be there with Julie. Like, I don't think there is this big, like, puzzle to put together to solve. And in the end, it'll all be wrapped up with a bow and everyone would just go home and be free. Y'all here to suffer. Like, this is... Y'all here to suffer. There is no way out. Even if you're out, you ain't out, because we can pull you back in at any time. Elgin and Julie end up going to play dress up and going through all this stuff in his basement. And they find a Polaroid camera, take a picture of each other. And we see the picture that Julie took of Elgin, but we do not see the picture that Elgin took of Julie. And it was very much giving like Goosebumps, Say Cheese and Die, or what was that like generic horror movie that came out? I don't know. Was it the 2000s? I wasn't recently, but basically it was a generic horror movie where this girl wanted to be a photographer and she finds a camera and anybody she takes a picture of with that camera dies. Like, it was kind of giving me that. What? I just feel like, is this just something that there's no rhyme or reason, or is something going to come of this? But we know From has been a lot of things happening with no rhyme or reason. But let's get into this diner, this meeting at the diner. I really am trying to figure out, are human beings really this stupid? Or was this just all bad writing? We're having a meeting at the diner. Every single solitary townsperson is a motherfreaking fool and idiot, including the townspeople that we spend time with, like Fatima and Ellis. And Fatima got the nerve to have an attitude with Tabitha, being like, did you contact anyone? Did you tell them about this place? And everybody is agreeing with her, like, you were out there with people that you could have got us help. What the hell? Like, the cops, the crowd is mad, including Fatima and Ellis backing her up, sitting next to her like an idiot, about Tabitha not getting help. And the cop tries to defend her, like, look, no one in the ambulance believed her. And then I think it was Dale who had the nerve to say, like, when the cop stands up to say something like, what is she even doing here? She killed someone last night. Baby, because it's been 3 seasons of a lot of stuff happening, but baby, didn't Dale stab somebody? Didn't Dale stab Ellis and he almost died and we had to run over to the clinic in the middle of the night? But Fatima just being like, you are out there in the real world where people could help. Are we not all in the same from? What do you mean in the real world where people could help? Help how, Fatima? Where are y'all? Where was Tabitha supposed to point to on the map to tell the real world people where y'all are and how to get y'all help? Everyone in this town were real world people who drove in and could not drive out. So again, how exactly are the people in the real world equipped to help? I just thought this basis and line of argument was the dumbest thing I ever heard of in my life. Like, the argument of wanting to go to the tree makes a lot more sense than the argument of you could have got us help out there in the real world. First of all, I want to say, Fatima, girl, you eating people. Like, sit down, sit back, and shut the hell up. But the way if I was Boyd, baby, Boyd is real nice. Boyd, it might seem like Boyd's starting to get attitude, but not enough for me. Because Boyd too nice. The way when they had this argument about you could have told somebody, the way I would have pointed to each person, literally pointed them out and recalled the moment they came into town, especially all the people in that motherfucking bus. I would have literally recalled the moment everybody came into town and had nobody believe when they were told about this town and how they couldn't leave. You are the real world people, and look how much you believed it. So how do you expect for Tabitha to get anybody to believe anything that you did not even believe? Like, that's the thing that took me out. Anytime people drive into this town, they do not believe. So, y'all, I was so frustrated because I'm here for the argument of the tree and take us to the tree, because y'all feel like that's how she got out. That argument makes a lot more logical sense than the argument of why didn't you get help? And for Fatima to be leading the argument, like, if you don't sit down, because you turning into a ghoul yourself. You was fingering Nikki and licking blood off your fingers. Why are you even talking? Boyd is trying to calm everybody down because they get real fired up and real stupid. And Boyd is like, look, it's not just hoping and wishing anymore. We have concrete proof now. Someone got out. And Dale is like, okay, great, where the tree? Point me to the tree. And when I tell you, I'm not holding grown people's hand. Like, I'm not. Like, I completely get Boyd trying to step up, you know, make sure that's not chaos, make sure people are safe, you know what I mean, doing what he's doing for this town, great. But I'm not finna hold the hand of grown adults. I would have said, third tree to the right. Like, you want to go? I would have let everybody traipse their ass over to that tree. Like, I would. The best teacher is experience. Like, you ain't gonna listen to me. So go ahead. Go. Like, I can't stand in this show, just like when Jade wanted to run back to town and Christy was like, it's too dark, you won't make, he grown, baby, he grown, he know the rules, let him go. What Scarface said, let it go, man, let it go. Like, I literally would let them all go get themselves killed, and then the rest of y'all, you'll learn. But Ellis was with Fatima. They was with all the idiots. Boyd trying to explain that, look, it's not as simple as going back to that tree, because I went through a magic tree and I almost got killed. I ended up in a chimney underground. But Dale got an attitude like, I'm sick of your plans. I'm sick of your rules. I want to go home. When I tell you, y'all come out, if I was Boyd, baby, y'all can make this shit like the Wild West. Go ahead. Because y'all don't do nothing useful no way, so go on traipse out there and get killed. It'll be more resources for us. Like, we ain't got to worry about feeding all y'all ingrates. It took me, y'all, this meeting, but Jade was telling Ethan, because Ethan was asking Jade, like, why aren't you at the meeting? And Jade is like, when you're older, you'll realize that any meeting with more than 3 people is pointless. You're right, Jade. Jade, you're right. And Tabitha and Jim gets back and end up telling them how the meeting went. And Jade is like, see, Ethan, like, I told you. So I guess people are idiots. I guess it's not bad writing. I guess people really are idiots. And you need to just have a little group of 3 that got some sense in their head, as opposed to like a huge meet. But y'all, this meeting pissed me off. Like, it pissed me. Like, if they would have just been arguing about where's the tree, want to go to the tree, I could have accepted that a lot more. Because I get being irrational, wanting to go home and just wanting to run to that tree. Like, oh, well, she got in that tree and went home, so let me get in the tree. Like, no, it don't really make sense, but it makes sense for people that are frantic, scared, panicking, and just want to go home. But the argument about why didn't you was in the real world, you could have got us help, that was just dumb as hell. That was just dumb. So when Tabitha and Jim end up getting back, Tabitha wants to go off with Jade to the tree, and she's feeling guilty for some dumbass reason, because baby, she's like, they're right, I got out, I came back with nothing, I owe it to them. That took me out. 2 words that I can't stand: have to and owe. I don't have to do nothing, and I don't owe nobody. Like, them is 2 words that I'm just like, Tabitha, baby, you owe nobody nothing. Like, you don't. And I don't even like Tabitha, but the real is, you don't owe anybody anything. But baby, Jim get on my nerves, because how the hell one of the worst parents in the whole town of well, I guess the only parent, got the nerve to say, you owe it to your kids, you need to be here. Jim, nigga, didn't you leave your kids right after she left? And your kids got attacked and almost died if it wasn't for Sarah? Sir. I thought that was crazy. But Tabitha does end up going with Jade under the condition that her son cannot go with them. Ethan wanted to go, and that was the little thing that agreement that Jim and Tabitha came to. Well, Ethan stays here with me. For once, Jim. For once. Because, and speaking of Jim having the nerve to say you owe it to your kids, just last episode, he ran his ass out the house knowing Ethan ran out after his mama and almost got killed. And it was Boyd who had to make sure he sat there face to face to Ethan and Julie to make sure they stayed in the house. Sir, excuse me, like, you got some nerve. You got some nerve. I swear, if I was the writer, I would be annoyed just writing Jim. Now, Ellis, useless ass, who ain't even want to do it, never want to do nothing. Boyd went to Ellis trying to make a plan to catch a creature. He was just scared, wanted to tell Donna because he didn't want to do it. Ellis ass running up to Boyd after the meeting because, baby, what does Ellis do all day? I said this in a previous video. Ellis is useless like everybody else in that town. What the heck? It's 24 hours in a day. What does Ellis do all day? Or maybe not 24 because, you know, they can't do that at night. But y'all know what I'm trying to say. What the hell does Ellis do all day? From the time of season 1, all Ellis be doing is swimming in that pond, hanging out with his girlfriend. Now he building a family. Like, Ellis, what you be doing all day? You don't do anything to contribute to us getting out. But now all of a sudden you all boisterous and got all this to say because of stuff. I'm telling y'all the unmitigated gall of what everybody was saying. Ellis is after the meeting calling after Boyd. Boyd is like walking ahead of him. Ellis trying to run after him like, Dad. And I'm sitting here like, you don't talk to Boyd no other time. You don't seek Boyd out no other time. Boy, why are you here? Why are you here? Boyd ends up fussing at Ellis that him and Fatima are lighting the match when they need to be helping to calm people down. Baby, when I tell you the way I could have smacked my TV, because why the hell did Ellis have the nerve to say, maybe we need, you know, someone to actually do something instead of sitting around worried about what could go wrong? Baby, Boyd ain't sat down in 3 seasons. Like, what are you talking about? Nobody has done as much as Boyd. Anytime it's a mission to go traipse off on, anytime it's time to traipse off into the woods, baby, it's Boyd. I just felt like, are the writers crazy? Like, for Ellis to have the nerve to say, maybe we need someone to actually do something? Ellis, what have you done? Like, I needed Boyd to really get in his ass because are you kidding me? Like, the nerve to say maybe we need someone to actually do something, and then to have the nerve on top of all the nothing Ellis has done for 3 seasons, but literally to say, instead of sitting around worried about what could go wrong, baby Ellis, what did you say when Boyd came to you about catching a creature? What did you say? Like, you ain't never down for anything. But I did love, even though Boyd did not go hard and go ham like I wanted him to, I did like when Boyd spins Ellis around to face the townspeople like, okay, who life are you willing to gamble on? Who should be the next person to get marched out there into the woods? You want to do something, right? Okay, tell me who's your pick. Who is your pick? Like, I was like, and Ellis ain't have itch to say, like, go ahead, Ellis, pick somebody. Because I bet your ass ain't going to traipse out there. Like, because you never do. Ellis is good for nothing. It just, y'all, okay, let me calm down. And I was just so fired up because how dare all the people who never do anything, never risk nothing, have the nerve to be this amped and upset and questioning Boyd. Ain't nobody else step up but Boyd. So later on, the female cop that came in, the cop goes to see Boyd. I don't know her name, child. I'm just going to call her Cop. And she's like thanking Boyd for taking up for her in that meeting. And she goes to say, you know, we had this storm come through last year. And we had all the people build XYZ. And, you know, the worst of the storm was over. But people just need something to do. They just need a task to focus on. Baby, I was here for Boyd. Boyd was like, bitch, you been here less than... He ain't say that. Boyd said, you been here less than a day. And now you got all the solutions, right? You think I took off for you in there? You think we buddies? You killed someone and you left 2 people for dead in that ambulance. Now, I feel very differently about the cops' actions that night over Boyd. Boyd did not leave Randall for dead. There was absolutely, like, no choice. There was no... Boyd said, Randall? Get your ass to the bus. Randall got in a tizzy seeing them locusts that he know ain't real. Now, the cop, on the other hand, literally handcuffed Tabitha to that ambulance, got her ass outside, saw the 2 EMTs get killed, and just ran off in a whole nother direction when she was right there by the ambulance. Knew she was leaving old girl tied up, kept popping off rounds when it was literally doing nothing. Like, you keep shooting these things And you're just shooting the air. So why you still... I was very much here for Boyd. I very much was here for Boyd. And when he goes to say you killed somebody and you left 2 people to die in the ambulance, and she's like, I'm sorry. Boyd said, great. Go be sorry. But I will say, when Boyd said, let me worry about how to deal with my town, I was like, Boyd, your town, Boyd, calm down, baby. Boy, calm down, because I'm with you. I'm with you, Boyd. But when he said my town, I was like, boy, calm down. Boy, calm down. But I was very much annoyed with the cop. And for one, her plan is basically Jim's plan in season 1, having everybody work together and build that damn tower. And we see how that all worked out. But even if she had the greatest plan in the world, I feel like, baby, you literally just got here. Just sit your ass down, be quiet, and learn the ropes. Like, don't come up here trying to give us ideas and solutions. First of all, anybody in the town gonna listen to no idea or solution from you, because you saw how they just reacted towards you in that meeting. You killed Nikki. And that's all anybody gonna see right now. But I just really felt like it's not even the idea, which the idea wasn't too grand. But it's not even the idea. It's just the fact that, baby, you just got here. You just got here. And yeah, you panicked. You know what? I ain't even finna hold you. You panicked. Just like everybody else who come to the town, you didn't believe what was going on. Whatever. But you literally just got here. Sit down. Sit in the back. And take notes. So, let's get to Ellis and Fatima. Child. Because I want them to die. They on my nerve. And they have never been like my favorite characters or anybody I really cared about. But baby, the way, y'all already know Fatima on my nerve. Because she acted like them people that get bit by a zombie and don't tell nobody. But Fatima is in there sneaking around, eating the rotten vegetables. Ellis knocking on the door. Like, what's going on? And she opens the door and like she finally tells Ellis, but I bet you she ain't telling him that she was eating on Nikki. But she tells him about eating the rotten food, and she goes to say, I think something wrong with the baby. And we just cut, and that's all we get from them. And this is just another example of how I feel like these storylines are dragging and moving along at a snail's pace. Baby, we been knew something was going on with Fatima, baby. I just feel like we could be moving forward a little. The pace is just a little too slow for me. It's just a little too slow for me. A lot too slow. I really wasn't the biggest fan of this episode. I just feel like there's so much pointless dribble and conversation happening. First of all, I forgot all about the bus driver, but all of a sudden, baby keep popping up. If y'all don't put her back in the background, because Boyd is on the bus, like looking around, maybe trying to like figure out why the creatures targeted Randall, I'm not sure, but the bus driver hops up there like, what are you doing in here? Bitch, go somewhere. Like, oh, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep saying that, but these people was on my nerve. Like, why are you coming to ask? I would be like, girl, if you don't get the hell out of here, get out my face. Like, why do I need to answer to you about why I'm in here, what I'm doing, especially with the way you just acted in that diner? And this was also weird. 2 seconds after leaving the diner, she's like, You're right, and I'm gonna be on your side next time. What was with the sudden change of heart? In like 5 seconds, like, baby, you fickle as hell. Pick a side and stick to it. But she was on the bus talking to Boyd about how he reminds her of her sister. I'm just like so tired of these conversations. I don't give a damn about her sister. I don't give a damn about hearing about her sister. I give a damn about hearing about these little mysteries that done been dropped in little plot lines that ain't going nowhere. Like the trees was moving. We was measuring the trees. Like, we got all kind of stuff that has happened. Your wife shouldn't be digging in the basement, and the house collapsed, and let's follow the electricity. Like, we got all kind of stuff we could be spending runtime on. Why are we spending runtime on the bus driver talking about her sister? Is it just me? Okay. Sorry, I guess it's just me. Now, Jade and Tabitha are out by the bottle tree. They're just sitting around because, remember, they're not actually going into the tree. Jade just wants to, like, investigate and try to figure something out. And he shares with Tabitha about seeing what he saw in the tunnel with the symbol and the kids. Which, again, why are we wasting runtime on the bus driver talking about Boy remind her of her sister? We ain't seen them damn Ankui kids. We don't know what Ankui is. Like, it's so much we could be spending runtime on. Like... They're talking about like the numbers in these bottles, and Tabitha is kind of feeling like it doesn't mean anything, and Jade is like, okay, it only looks like chaos until you understand the pattern. And I was kind of wondering, like, could the numbers be locations? Like, I don't know how you write longitude and latitude. I don't know how the format supposed to be, because I think they said it's like 4 numbers on each little sliver. But I completely agree with the argument that Jay has. Like, nobody sat here, wrote all these numbers and put them in the bottles for like no rhyme or reason. Baby, Dale pop up. Dale pops up with his little book bag on. Dale literally walked out there like Dora the Explorer with her little book bag. Like, that's literally how Dale walked out there. And he's just like, y'all could thank me later. Like, I'm going to do what a smart person would, and I'm going to get y'all help. And I will say, when this moment happened, I was about to be annoyed, because I was like, please tell me that Tabitha and, well, I know Jade wouldn't, child, but I'm like, please tell me that Tabitha and Jade are not about to get hurt or get in some kind of tussle trying to stop Dale. Because, babe, it just irks me when people be trying to, like, he is a grown adult. Like, if this was Ethan, that's different. But grown, go ahead, let his ass get in a tree. And they absolutely did. They absolutely did. And all of a sudden, Boyd hears the town people screaming. Dale went through that tree and got his know-it-all ass stuck in the concrete wall of the pool. And baby, when I tell you, I need Boyd to really go off on these people. I need him to be like King Kong. Ain't got no, I don't. But when one of the town people was like, "Can you help him?" Bitch, you help him. Like, what? Help him how? Help him how? The nigga is concrete now. He's concrete now. Like, help. I don't know. It just irks me that simultaneously the town people never do nothing and expect Boyd to do it. Can you help him? Like, they never do anything, but then got the nerve to criticize and question the things that Boyd does. Pick a side and stay on it. Don't ask me, can I help, when y'all was all just firing off in that diner about how y'all could have took Tabitha experience and did so much better. Y'all think y'all could run the ship better? Go ahead. They always look, and that's the thing too, why I don't give Boyd too much with his whole "this is my town" and everybody looking to Boyd, because yes, Boyd put himself in this position, but at the same time, so did the townspeople. The townspeople always look to Boyd or whoever would have stepped up to fill that role. It's like they want to look to somebody else to do all the heavy lifting and get their hands dirty, but at the same time want to like criticize. It just irked me so much. Boyd pulls out his gun, presumably about to shoot Dale in the head to put him out of his misery, but he didn't need to. Dale dies. And Boyd was like, okay, who next? Still want to go through the tree? Still want to go through the tree? Go ahead. And he's like, I am trying to keep y'all alive. And when I tell you, this moment for real was giving me Rick Grimes on The Walking Dead, like after they left the farmhouse and he was like, oh, you think you could survive without me? Go ahead. Like, that's what this was giving me. And when I tell you, I would have went so hard on people. When I tell y'all, Boyd was so nice in that diner meeting, to that cop, and at this little pool area. Because the way I would have really gave them people a piece of my mind, and I would have said some real nasty stuff. And when I tell you, if I was Boyd, I would leave Dale by the right there to collect flies. Wait, are there flies in from? Are there flies? I would have just left his body there to rot. I literally would. As a reminder. Question me again, niggas. Like, I would have left the body. I would have left it. And as Boyd is talking, Donna ends up coming over. And I feel like you could see she was trying not to break down and trying to like hold it together. Dale was one of her people from Community House. And of course, Donna has her role of responsibility over her people of Community House. But I have said that I need some real devastation, because I feel like there are no real stakes when we're in From. No top level characters have died yet. We're 3 seasons in. Only lower tier characters have died. Father Khatri, T-Chin, the bartender that I really liked. All characters that I liked, The girl who had a little thing through her head, her boyfriend got. We have not had any top tier characters die off, and we are 3 seasons in. I feel like we need to up the stakes. Of course, Boyd is going to have a level of plot armor, obviously, but we need to kill off some main top tier characters. All these lower tier characters dying off like Dale. Like, yes, look, that was very satisfying. I'm sorry. It was satisfying. But Dale ain't deserved stuff like that though. Like, for real. He deserved stuff like that. That was pretty cruel. But F around and find out. The best lessons are learned hard. The best lessons are learned the hard way. Sorry. Just as far as like the series, I just really need there to be some real stakes. And we're 3 seasons in. I need some top tier level characters to get killed off. Thank you so much for being here with me as we go through the 3rd season of From. And we halfway through the season. No dots have connected yet. We have all kind of little things that happened in season 1 and season 2 that people was reading into and making all their theories. Nothing came of it yet. And we're halfway through season 3. I told you I have no faith that anything will connect. I enjoy the show. I enjoy the ride. And I have just come to the point of understanding that that's all it is enjoying the ride. And I already said I do not want the overarching. I don't want some full explanation for the From, but all the little mysteries and stuff, I would like answers to those, but I have just resolved the fact that it won't happen. Like, that's how I feel, because I just feel like there's no way to tie up all the little threads from season 1. I don't see it happening. But let me know in the comments, how did you feel about this week's episode of From? I personally thought it was a little lackluster and just a lot of dribble and wasted filler stuff. But let me know in the comments. I am overall enjoying this season. I think this has been a great season so far as like the entertainment level of the episodes. So let me know in the comments, how are you feeling about this current season of From? And do you have faith in this second half? I really need us to up the ante. I need us to really like have a massacre, kill off some top tier level characters, really make the stakes real. I will see you in the next one. Oh, and I will be live this Thursday with Julie B Deep Dives discussing this new episode of From and getting all into our thoughts and everything. And Friday I will be live with Nadia Does Horror, Naz with Horror, to also discuss last week and this week's episode and thoughts. And if you haven't, please make sure you check out my previous videos on From for this season. And if you just would like to go back to my older thoughts, I have videos up from when I covered season 1 and when I covered season 2 of From. And I also did a live last week, really delving into my thoughts and theories along with Julie B Deep Dives and Nadia. That is in the live tab on my channel and in the From season 3 playlist. So please make sure you check that out. I will see you in the next one. Thank you.
One of us, a loving cop, a loving cop. We accept a one of us. We accept a one of us.
Goober gobble, goober gobble.
We accept her, we accept her. Google gobble, Google gobble. One of us, one of us. Google gobble.
They're going to make you one of them.